All right, let's see how this works. I'm going to be using my board up here, using Kami, doing these problems. I want to show you how to approach these again. Some of us seem to be struggling with finding or discovering these relationships. And it's all in how they're worded. So let's give this a shot. Let me go to my highlighter. So number one, we're talking about Hercules and Ahab. Each make a pattern. Each pattern starts with the number 0. The first 5 terms in each pattern are shown below. So we're talking about each of these patterns has 5 terms. So you have the Hercules pattern. I'll highlight that in green. Hercules, right? 0, 6, 12, 18, and 24. Then with orange, you have Ahab. 0, 12, 24, 36, and 48. Now notice that the first term in each one is 0. So we're going to kind of ignore that first term. Then we go to the second term. You can see Hercules has a 6, Ahab has a 12, Hercules 12, Ahab 24, and 18 and 36, 24 and 48. Now let's take a look at what this statement is asking us to find, right, or to describe. So which statement below describes the relationship between the corresponding terms in the patterns? And corresponding terms are the terms that I circle, like the 0 and 0, the first terms, the 6 and the 12 are the second terms, and then the third terms, fourth terms, fifth terms. A says in a term in Ahab's pattern is 3 times the corresponding term in Hercules' pattern. So the first thing it talks about is Ahab, a term in Ahab's pattern. So Ahab's pattern is this orange color. So let's go to 12. So let's look at 12 right here. A term in Ahab's pattern, click off that, is 3 times the corresponding term in Hercules' pattern. Well, in Hercules' pattern, the number is a 6. And 6 times 3 is 18. So that would not work. So I know I don't want that one. So I'll use my pen tool, cross that out. The next one talks about, in B, a term in Ahab's pattern. So again, we're looking at Ahab's pattern. Adds 2 to the Hercules term. So you look at Ahab's pattern, but you got to go to the Hercules term and add 2 to it. So if I add 2 to the 6, of course I get 8 and not 12. Well, that's not going to be right. So C talks about a term in Ahab's pattern is half the corresponding term in Hercules' pattern. So a term in Ahab's pattern, go back to my highlighter, a term in Ahab's pattern, like 12, is half the corresponding term in Hercules. Well, look at 12, that's in Ahab's. Hercules has a 6, so it says to look at half of that, you get a 3. Well, that's not 12. Ahab's pattern is a 12, that term. So half the corresponding term in Hercules has got to be the Ahab's, and it's not going to work. Half of 24 is 12, not 48. So it doesn't look like that one's going to work either. Let's go to the last one. The difference between Hercules and Ahab's corresponding terms is a multiple of 3. Difference means you're going to subtract them. So let me pause the video and erase some things. So again, D says the difference. You're going to subtract the difference between the Hercules and Ahab's corresponding terms. So let's subtract the 12 and the 6. You get a 6. Let's subtract 24 and 12. 24 minus 12 is 12. So if you can read my writing, 36 minus 18 is 18. 48 minus 24 is 24. So those are the differences right there. Are they multiples of 3? Well, multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and those are all, that's all true. 6, 12, 18, and 24 are multiples of 3. So I know in this problem here that D will be the correct solution. Now let's take a look at number 3. I scroll down past number 2. Let's look at number 3. So in number 3, it's about Dorothy and Dora. Dorothy and Dora each make a pattern. Each pattern starts with the number 0. The first 5 terms in each pattern are shown below. So we have Dorothy's pattern and we have Dora's pattern. Let's go with Dorothy's pattern green, 0, 3, 6, 9, 12. Dora's pattern 0, 12, 24, 36, and 48. And like before, we're actually we're comparing the corresponding terms. So the 0 and the 0 are the same. The first terms are the same. Don't really need to look at those. Let me look at the next term, the 3 and the 12, the 6 and the 24, 9 and 36, and 12 and 48. Now in the wording, it tells you which pattern to look at first and which other pattern to do something to see if you can figure out, as it says here in the statement, it says here, which statement below describes the relationship between the corresponding terms. So let's look at A. A talks about a term in Dorothy's pattern. So Dorothy's pattern is a 1 on top, so term on top. And let's not look at the zeros. You look at the 3, the 6, 9, and 12. A term in Dorothy's pattern subtracts 4 from the corresponding term in Dora's. So you got to go to Dora's pattern and subtract 4. So if you go to Dora's pattern, 12, and subtract 4, 12 minus 4 is 8, it should give you Dorothy's number, which is a 3, not an 8. So that doesn't work. Let's go to B. A term in Dora's pattern. So Dora's pattern is the one at the bottom, the term down here like 12, is Dorothy's corresponding term divided by 4. So you got to go to Dorothy's term divided by 4. Dorothy's term is a 3. If you divide it by 4, 3 divided by 4 is 3/4. It's not 12. So that can't be right. Let's go to C. Again, it says a term in Dora's pattern, which is the bottom numbers, the 12, the 24, 36, and 48. Those numbers in Dora's pattern are going to be 4 times what? The corresponding term in Dorothy's. So Dorothy's is on top. So 4 times Dorothy's number. So 4 times 12 is 48. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 3 is 12. It's got to be C. And I always, you should look at the last one too. So I'm going to use black for this one, save that. So look at D. Oh, I tried to change that to a black. But a term in Dora's pattern adds 4 to the corresponding term in Dorothy's. So if you go to Dorothy's, the last one is a 12. You add 4, you get 48. No, you get 16. So that won't work either. So you got to look at each of those questions, each of those examples, or each of the possible answers. Which term are they talking about? In this case, Dora's or Dorothy's. Are they asking you to do something to Dora's to get Dorothy's? Or are you asked to do something in Dorothy's to get Dora's? You got to look at the wording and read it carefully. So hopefully this works. You can keep practicing and do your best today. Thanks.